Hello and welcome to LeadMaster. In this video, I'm going to show you how to combine these fields to create one concise field that contains a list of these different fields. So let's start our if statement. We have if H3 in this case equals swim, then it must equal swim with a comma. We're going to put a comma after all these words because we want them to be read as a list. So it'll be swim, comma, run, comma, jump, comma, throw, comma, catch, comma. Swim. Otherwise, it is a blank. This if statement refers to the first box in the H column. Each column is going to have its own if statement, and we're going to connect these if statements by the use of ampersands. So, ampersand if I3 in this case equals, quote, run, then it must equal, quote, run with a comma. Otherwise, it is a blank. Close that one up. Next one, ampersand if J3 in this case equals, quote, jump, then it is jump with a comma. So what we're doing here is we're saying that this jump, whenever it sees a jump, it's going to rename that jump with a comma or nothing at all. Once you know how the formula works, and as you can see it's starting to create a pattern, you'll get the hang of it and you'll be able to use this formula to create longer if statements, and you'll also be able to use it to manipulate the information to get the type of information that you want. Ampersand if K3 equals throw, then it's either throw, comma, otherwise it is blank. Ampersand if L3 equals, quote, catch, then it is catch with a comma, otherwise it is blank. Close that up. And now we have our list. So now that we have our new formula, our if statement, that created this new field from this chart, we now just need to copy, paste special, formulas, okay. And as you can see, it does have all the right information, which is good, but it looks a bit jumbled. It looks not clean and concise, which is what we want it to look like. And as you can see, there's spaces in between, and there's also commas at the end. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get rid of the spaces in between, and also how to get rid of the commas at the end of the statement. So first, let's get rid of the spaces in between. we're just going to add on to this formula. We're going to use the trim function, because if you remember from our last video, the trim function gets rid of the spaces in between individual values, which is what we want to do, because remember, we are working off of the original chart. This chart is connected to this chart, and this chart is connected to this chart, which is in turn connected to the original chart. So in order to get rid of the spaces, we're going to use the trim function. Just put it at the beginning of your statement before the if. So trim. And we're just going to enclose the whole thing. We want to make sure that it's trimmed so we don't have those spaces in between. Press enter. It's hard to see on the first one because there are no spaces between. But once we copy and paste our new formula in there, as you can see, it looks cleaner. We got rid of the spaces, and now we can focus on just what the row is saying. So now that we have the spaces taken out of our new column, we want to get rid of the comma at the end of the statement. So we're going to go over to a new column. We're going to use a new command called left. What the left command does is that it looks to everything to the left in a field. And what we want to determine is how far left do we want to look, and what do we not want to include in our new statement. In this case, we're just getting rid of the comma. So everything besides the very last one is what we want. So in this statement, it's going to be left of N3 in this case. I just need to use a new comma. So we want the length, which is len, of N3 minus 1, which is the very last one, which is the comma. There we go, no comma. You want to copy, paste special, formulas, okay. So now we have our new column without the commas at the end, which is great. And now, in order to import this into LeadMaster, we're going to make one last column because I want to suggest to you, before you import any information into LeadMaster and it's connected to a formula. For instance, if you click on something and there's a formula up here, it's connected to these past charts, which is why we got the spaces in our third chart, because it related back to the original chart. So in order to make sure that you don't get an error message, we want to highlight everything, copy, paste special, and only choose the values. That way it's not connected to anything else in Excel, and we're able to import those values without fear that they're going to be connected to a formula that's going to get messed up. So it's all the same information, but this one is just a value. As you can see up here, it just is the value, not a formula. So this is the new column that you want to import into the LeadMaster system.